So I know he had a great time last night, a great call. And so we got a special guest coming up, Jay, and I think she helped you out with some things this summer, didn't she?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We're developing a business relationship here. Hence why we got to get her on a Drive Guys. And she's got to be she can't be a Drive Guy. She's got to be a Drive Gal, right? That makes sense. And so we got to start to, one thing we like to do in the Drive Guys, fresh voices.
Yes.
Right? That's what we're doing here. So
yeah, but didn't she MC with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, at the JaVale McGee game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
As she does every single day covering the Kings.
Yes.
Among other things.
NBC Sports Authentic, Tristi Rodriguez. How are you today, Tristi?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
Absolutely. We appreciate it. We're doing fine. Just get ready for Halloween. Can we ask Tristi, how have the Kings played so far compared to what maybe you expected from them early?
I might be, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but they're playing kind of like I expected. When you land a big name star like DeMar DeRozan, it's going to take some time to adjust to things. I think we saw that in the preseason, and, we label it as it's just the preseason, but it wasn't just the preseason, right? And we saw that the first two games. And then it's, someone made a good point in post game the other day. We bring DeMar in, and the team is adjusting to DeMar. DeMar's adjusting to the team. And then we bring Kevin and Trey back, and now DeMar's having to adjust to whole new two key pieces. The rotation's changing, the lineups are changing. It's a lot of change. So things aren't going to be pretty from the beginning. I do think the last two games were the most complete team games on both ends of the floor. I think they've been playing really good defense the past two games, and hey, those have both been wins. So would you look at that? You play good defense, you win games, and you make shots, you win games. So things are looking kind of as I expected. Like I said, it's going to take some adjustments. It's going to take, still not perfect by any means. Still going to be a lot of, seems like Mike Brown's still toying with the rotations, but at least it seems like for now they're trending in the right direction. So that's a good sign.
Tristi, someone that you just spoke about, which is Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet. A lot of people are liking what they see when it comes to his play so far this season, minus maybe game one. What's your thoughts on Kevin Huerter's quote unquote quick bounce back through 4 games?
The return of Red Velvet.
The return. Woo.
The return of Red Velvet, but the return of not the headband.
Right.
I'm loving it so far. I've been a Kevin Huerter truther. I'm not big on basing somebody's career off of a season. And, I understand from the fans' perspective, it can be frustrating. He had a down year last year, then he had the injury. But if you look at his career, he's a good player. And I feel like people forget that. And you see it. And, even at times last season when during his shooting slumps and his struggles, I feel like the effort was there. And I always pointed it out to the guys that were sitting next to me in the press box. The effort was there. He's never going to be a lockdown defender. That's just clear. He's never going to be a lockdown defender. But the effort from his first season in Sacramento 2 seasons ago to now is crazy different. It's so different. And he's becoming a better defender. And he's starting to knock down shots. And you can tell last season too that when, teams would target him, and then he also wasn't knocking down shots. It was kind of his defense was interfering with his confidence on the other side of the ball. His shots weren't going down, and it was just a ripple effect. But it seems like both things are trending upward for him, and it's a good sign. The Kings need the Kevin Huerter that they had 2 seasons ago to be successful.
Tristi Rodriguez with us, NBC Sports Authentic. And Tristi, this is kind of funny to me. Today, as I was thinking about what we're going to do in the show, I started wondering about, this big three. This may be one of the best, if not the best, big threes that Kings have ever had. And then you actually posted something about that today. So what prompted you to go there? And could this be the best big three that Kings have ever had?
I mean, I think so. It was already special when you paired De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, right? I think just the way that they unlocked, Sabonis is such a special player, and he just kind of makes the best around anyone who's on the floor with him. But he really, and we already knew De'Aaron was a special player, but just the way that they unlocked each other's potential and just true greatness these past couple of years have just been really, really fun to watch. And then you add a 6-time NBA All-Star in DeMar DeRozan, a 16-year vet. How can that not just, you form those 3, how can that not result in greatness? And we've seen it it's been such a small sample size, I understand, But just the concern all offseason about the spacing and, there's only one ball, who's going to get it? Like, if anything, it's helping De'Aaron, it's helping Demonis, it's helping everybody else on the floor, it's helping Keegan, it's helping Kevin. And yeah, I think this could really be the next best big three in the league. And I feel like people should be, I don't know, aware of it. And maybe they're kind of sleeping on it a little bit. And that's okay because, it's Sacramento. But it's funny because I feel like people, we know about DeMar's consistency over his season, over his career. But I feel like still people were kind of doubting it over the offseason. Just people I've had conversations with, like, DeMar DeRozan is not going to, it's not going to be just one person that changes things in Sacramento. But like, it kind of is, and it kind of does take that one person to do so. And we already see it happening in such a small sample size.
Joined by Tristi Rodriguez, a self-proclaimed Kevin Huerter truther. Yeah. I never heard that. I like where you're going right there. Tristi, I actually agree with you with DeMar DeRozan. I think stars can change the trajectory of a team. But I want to ask you about another star, and that's De'Aaron Fox. One of my things I've always talked about when it comes to De'Aaron is making his teammates, making other people on the floor that he plays with better, besides going to get scoring and get his own buckets. Have you seen any change within the first 4 games of De'Aaron trying to get guys more comfortable and in the game, in the rhythm of the game already? Or do you think it's just something that's organically happened?
Yeah, I mean, he's a playmaker. I think we saw shades of that last season, even, 2 seasons ago. I think the best thing too about having so many stars on your team and the stars like De'Aaron is that there's no ego to them. De'Aaron doesn't care about dropping 30 on a nightly basis. If he needs to, he can, he's fully capable of doing so. But the best thing about De'Aaron, DeMar, and the triple D's are going to drive me crazy all season. DeMar, Sabonis, and DeRozan. The best thing about those 3 is none of them have egos. They all are like fully capable with, it's okay if they, have 12 points and the other guy has 30, if they have, 10 assists, 7 assists, 8 assists on a night. And you see that happening with De'Aaron, and he cares about only winning. That's all he's cared about. He's on that mindset, and it's crazy because he's in his prime and he's capable of, like I said, he's capable of dropping 30 plus every single night if he wanted to, but you see him creating for others. You see him, making that extra pass to make the smart play. And I feel like that's a testament to Mike Brown kind of over the past 2-3 seasons now. And just being smarter with the ball. You've really seen that with De'Aaron, and it's just like a triple threat for him now. He can go get a bucket. He can create for others. His defense has improved. And so it's coming all together for them.
Yeah, we're talking with Tristi Rodriguez, NBC Sports Authentic. What would be your biggest concern for this team going forward, Tristi?
Let's see. I guess
a lot of people are saying, defensively, there's still some issues. The bench.
Yeah. I was going to say the bench. I think it seems like Mike Brown's, it's early, but it is also concerning when, I think it was after the first game, he was like, I'm still not comfortable with my rotations. And it's like, well, that's not the best thing to hear. Again, like, it's early, and then he had Trey and Kevin just kind of thrown into the mix, like right when the season started. And then, comes out, what was it, 2 days ago, saying, Keon's a situational type of player, but we're like, no, like, you need to play Keon. You need to find minutes for Keon. Like, he statistically and clear as day, if you're watching the game, makes the team better defensively. So that is probably my biggest concern, is finding minutes for everybody. And look, I'm not a coach for a reason. I can't manage minutes. I can manage.
But you could be, Tristi. We all know you could be if you wanted to be.
I can barely manage my own life. So I kudos to Mike Brown for trying to piece this together and make things work. But to his point that night when he was saying that he was, not comfortable with the rotations, he cannot play DeMar, Sabonis, and De'Aaron 40 minutes a night each. Like, he just can't. And that's on the guys off the bench to step up. Guys off the bench, not named Malik Monk, not named Keon Ellis, to step up and show out. And I feel like I want to see more from Trey Lyles. I know he's, still getting back and getting acclimated to basketball play, but I want to see more from him. I want to see some more from guys off the bench. Like I said, other than Malik Monk. But the other concern I would say also is free throws, because I know they're trending in the right direction this season. And I just hope that it maintains the way that it is, because last year, guys, we all know how frustrating that was. And if they can just make their free throws, it makes all the difference, as we've seen in these past couple games. And I just hope that they can continue with that.
Yeah. I know that 9 for 14 must have scared you last night. It was only 14 shots, only 14. T-Rod. Real quick, a two-part question. Last one for me. I know you're a Dodger, which
what? I didn't know
Dodger.
About that.
Yeah, I know, we'll let her gloat about her Dodgers and maybe winning a world championship. But before you get to that part, expectations. Something I've been talking about is goals and expectations, and having them be held to a higher standard for the Kings this season. It sounds like you may be on board with that. What is your goal and expectation for the Kings this season? Well, and then we'll let you talk about the Dodgers.
I hope everyone can stay healthy, because we saw what this team is capable of when they're healthy. And of course, it's the NBA, it's sports, anything can happen. It happens to the best teams, happens to every team. Injury bugs, whatever. If they can stay healthy, this team should make top, 6 seed in the West. That's my expectation for them. I think their offense can carry them and all the way up until even compete with the best of the West, which I know it's stacked, it's crazy. Their defense is clearly getting better. I think if they stay in the mix of, they're not going to be probably a top 10 defensive team, but maybe if they can stay somewhere in the middle and they maintain being a very top offense, I think they can be a top 6 seed. And I think players have talked about it. Mike Brown has talked about it. They don't want to just make the playoffs. They want to advance in the playoffs. So my expectation for them is to get to the playoffs and maybe get to the second round.
Tristi, we appreciate your time very much. Make sure you check out Tristi's story, NBC Sports BayArea.com on the Kings and the Big Three. We appreciate it. Have a great Halloween, and we'll see you soon at the arena.
Thank you. Go Dodgers.
Oh, come on. Did she have to? Can you
sneak
it in? Clip that? Did you dump that, Jay?
I had to.
Look, Tristi, well, before we break, we'll give your love to your Dodgers. A championship means what to you as a SoCal young lady?
What was that? Sorry.
I said, what is a championship for you as a Dodgers? And I believe you're from SoCal. What does that mean for you if you guys win?
I'm already planning going to the parade. I'm like, talked to my boss earlier about getting the day off. Like, he's like, girl, it hasn't even happened yet. I'm like, it would just mean a lot. Like, I've gone to Dodgers games with my grandma, who RIP, she's in heaven now watching with Vince Scully, probably cursing at all the players during this series. But some of my best memories as a child was going to Dodgers games with my dad and my grandma. And I actually went to the game 2 of the World Series and I wore her jacket. So it's just very special to me. I know it's, frowned upon up here up north, and I need to be careful with what I say, but it would just mean a lot to me, and I'm rooting for it. Hopefully it happens tonight.
Tristi, I got to tell you, and I'm not a Dodger fan, but my mom, today would have been her birthday. She's no longer with us, but huge Dodger fan. So if they were to win it on her birthday, I hope it doesn't happen, but if it did, I'd be glad for my mom. So.
Oh, love that. What will happen to you?
Thank you, Tristi. We appreciate it. Yeah. Take care.